How's he racist? You're accusing him of being racist. This time I didn't even ask.
Sweetheart, listen. If he wants to build a wall, that's racism.
How?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm a Latina and I agree. They should build a wall. This is getting out of control.
Hit on Deborah, get rejected, swallow sadness, send some faxes, call a sex line, cry deeply.
And in fact, all the studies suggest. All right, sweetheart. Criminologist Dr. Richard Johnson from the University of Toledo. You want some facts? Here are some. Based on the 2012 numbers, it would take 40 years worth of blacks killed by police to equal the total number of blacks murdered by police in a single year. 900 people have been killed by cops in 2016. 47% were white males. Only 24% were black males. Black men are not killed out of proportion, especially considering that they're much more likely to interact with cops. People are killed by police about as often as they're killed by lightning. There are no protests about storms. Black males are 58% of those killed legally by private citizens in self-defense. You might think that's an aha moment about racist whites, but 75% of those were killed by other blacks. FBI statistics on murder lay bare the real threats to black lives in America. Black men are about 6.5% of the US population, but they commit 52% of all murders over a 30-year period, which has dipped to about 40% in recent years, but still horribly and vastly disproportionate. Black men overwhelmingly murder other black people. Whites overwhelmingly murder other whites. That's not the narrative from Black Lives Matter. Looking at overall violent crime, blacks are 27 times more likely to attack whites than vice versa, and 8 times more likely to attack Hispanics. That's a shocking number I hope you take away from my visit. 90% of blacks that die from murder die at the hands of other black people. Is that enough facts for you?
You meet people that comes from other countries and be like, oh, I love my country. I love this. I said, if you love your country so much, why are you here? You taking up space for other people. We got some other Americans that love your job. You never heard anything about Donald Trump being racist until he ran for president and won. Before then, everybody was like, oh, he's on WWE, he on different shows. Everybody, they like Donald Trump. As soon as he ran for president, because people don't like the truth. I feel people shy away from realness. This man didn't do nothing. Hey, listen, if y'all didn't want the man in the White House, y'all should have voted the other way. He ain't like he went and robbed. He done his homework. He done what he had to do, and he got there. So at the end of the day, I don't know why everybody keep and keep picking it and holding. You know what I'm saying? They walking and walking hard. Protesting. We don't want this to happen. My man, all that time you spending protesting, you could be at home writing down ideas, coming up with a business.
Dealt with a best friend getting killed, and it was 2 35-year-old black men, you know, and wasn't no police officer involved, wasn't anybody else involved, and I didn't hear anybody shouting Black Lives Matter then. And I think that's the point we need to get to, is that we need to deal with our own internal issues before we move forward and start pointing fingers and start attacking other people. We need to solidify ourselves as a people and deal with our issues, because I think as long as we have black on black crime and black, you know, one black man killing another, you know, if Black Lives Matter, then they should matter all the time. You know, you should never let somebody get killed. That's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's friend. So you should always keep that in mind.
So the reason whites are doing well is because we cheated.
Yeah.
But if you look at the data of Asians, for example, you will find way more Asian privilege than there is white privilege. Asians make way more money than whites. They're way more educated than whites. They are less likely to experience any kind of crime than whites are. They're less likely to die at work than whites are. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, they suffer from a different sort of racial stereotyping.
Well, they don't suffer. They're kicking our ass. Everything you can say about white privilege is more true with Asian privilege.
Asian privilege, I wouldn't call it Asian privilege.
Well, it fits all the criteria of white male privilege.
What do you mean by that?
They get better jobs. They get better educations. No one sees them as threatening. Everything that you can say that whites cheated to get is more prevalent in an Asian society. Okay, let's drop that. I guess it's not going anywhere.
So let me ask you this. Do you know who's taking money from Big Pharma?
Hillary!
Everybody! on that one. Do you have anything else? Great comment. She's undefeated. Who's next?
To come out transgender is horribly difficult. It is the most difficult thing you can do. I've been overseas. I've flown helicopter missions, surveillance missions. I've been shot, stabbed. Being brave is being yourself. And being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do. Did she deserve the award?
65?
Yes.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No,
because
it's
that's
her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
I don't agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train. She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she. I just have a problem with the message and the messenger.
You have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you like to discuss the genetics or no?
Well, no,
what
no.
are your genetics?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, but wait. To be fair, but to be fair, you're actually being kind of rude. And that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who is biologically a male is a male. Someone who is biologically male is a male.
What's your energy solution?
Is locally owned, renewable energy for the people, by the people, not for corporate profits.
What kind of energy?
Localized wind and solar.
So wind, which kills more birds than any other energy system.
That is inaccurate.
It is. Would you like to guess how many birds are killed by wind? Enough that the current administration is actually exempting them from federal laws, which would put them in jail for the number of birds they're killing.
I'm sorry, but I think you should agree that the American people are a little bit more important than birds.
Ah, the American people are more important than birds? Okay.
But I will say that the tailings
I like that. I can't wait to report to the Sierra Club that I have been at Amherst and had somebody explain to me that people are more important than birds. This is a revolutionary moment.
We've got quite a large pay dispute happening with our Australian women's soccer team at the moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport? And we heard you say on the Ellen show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dina and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Burqas and hijabs, people can wear that. That's a religious expression thing. That's not.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Okay. If the burqa is just religious expression and it's perfectly fine, why is it black polyester in the Middle East? Why are you in a bin bag, as Billy Connolly puts it? Why isn't it flowing white gauze or a fresh cotton? It's clearly meant to punish the woman and make her suffer. And it impairs your vision. It's a form of oppression. But feminists in the West seem more concerned about high heel shoes, which women wear as a choice. But a burqa is not a choice. It's illegal not to wear one. And all over the Middle East, Sharia law dictates a woman cannot show her body.
You just don't do what the left does. Conservatives wouldn't do it, and if they did do it, they'd be ridiculed and raked over the coals.
Well, here's my question for Jessica. I mean, isn't this supposed to be a platform the left loves? We're talking about bullying. We're talking about cyberbullying. We're talking about being an advocate for that. Melania Trump is coming out in something that's not partisan at all. This is just a human thing. But yet they attack her for what she's wearing. And again, where are the feminists? They never come out. They never come out when Sarah Huckabee Sanders is called the Butch Queen.
The feminists are everywhere. They're just not supporting Kellyanne Conway, who advocates for policies that hurt women. They're not thrilled that Hope.
We're talking about cyberbullying. We're talking about Melania Trump advocating for an end to cyberbullying. But yet the left goes after her and they ridicule her. And I don't see the feminists coming out saying, hey, leave a woman alone, leave an empowered female alone. I don't see the feminists doing that, Jessica. I don't.